right? So then we continue. So right now it's out of 4 marks already. So 2 for 1, 2 for A, 2 for B, and we will continue. So we have our triangle here. Area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Okay. So the area of this would be, what's the base? Well, it's this one, and the height meets at a 90, right? So 215 times 0.59 divided by 2. And you might, I haven't looked at the formula sheet yet, not in a while. So it's 0.63 square meters. So if you're showing this work, but you somehow make a mistake and don't get this, I would give you half still. But if you just give me a number and it's wrong, you lose that mark. Okay? Make sure it's meters squared and rounded correctly. Perimeter, it's simply 0.67, 215, 1.38. And there should not be the height should not be in there. If that is in there, I would take 1 mark off. Right, so you got the perimeter there, you got the area there. So 2 marks for C. The area of a parallelogram, right, is base times height. That's what it is. So we would go 21.3 times 15.8. Could you multiply this by this? No, because they don't meet at a 90. Okay, so it's just that. That's 336.54 squared yards. Perimeter, 2 times 21.3 plus 2 times 19.5. That is 81.6, and that's just yards. And we should get into the habit of just rounding to 2 decimals, because if it's money and you don't do that, I take off half a mark. Okay, if it's money. So there is your 1 mark there and 1 mark here. Okay, 1 and 1. So we are out of 8 so far. So it is what it is, right? Like right now, you mark it and it's either right or wrong. You get half a mark if you show the correct work but get the wrong answer. Area. Area of a triangle, recall, right, is base times height divided by 2. We have the base, we don't have the height. That's why this one is worth 3 marks. You need to find the height. You can use Pythagorean theorem for that. This is a leg. I'll make note of that. So to find the leg, you take the square root of the longest side minus the other leg. Hypotenuse minus the other leg. And that would be 100 minus, that's 36. H is equal to 6 centimeters. So now this here is worth 1 mark if you had to do that in order for you to be able to come up with the area. So area is 8 times 6 divided by 2, which is 24 centimeters squared. And by the way, use a calculator, okay? Always have that available to you. Maybe later on I will maybe spend some time on mental math as well, okay? But right now I wanted to make sure these concepts are there, okay? Perimeter, you also needed the h for the perimeter, so it's just 10 plus 8 plus 6, that's 24 centimeters. And that's just a coincidence, okay? Don't think that they're going to be the same. So this one is worth 3 marks, one for finding the height, one for area, one for perimeter. So it's 3. So this page, if you want to look at it that way, so 1A all the way to E would be 11. Okay, so far, if you want to do out of 11 for this page, go ahead and do that. All right. Next page, working backwards. Right. So if a rectangular room is 12 feet wide and has an area of that, sorry, that's supposed to say square feet, determine the length of the room. So if you want the length, you need to take the area and divide it by the width. Right? So length is going to be 450, oops, there, 456 divided by 12, is it 38, yeah. And it's 38 feet is the width, length, never mind. Okay, to put it into perspective, right, you're given this room, you know that this is 456 square feet, right? That's the space it takes up. They give you that the width is 12 feet here, and you now found that this is 38 feet, okay? So you found the missing dimension. Basically, what times 12 gives you 456? That's what you found here, okay? Marks, I would say if you set it up like this, right? Anything like this already gets you 1 mark. And then I would give you 1 more mark for correct final answer. So you get 2 marks there. The circle has an area of 2002.96 square meters. Determine the radius. If you were with me yesterday, the radius is going to be the square root of area divided by pi. Okay, that's the formula I gave you. So we're going to do square root of area, which is 2002.96, divided by pi, right? And then, so now we're going to say area is going to be, let's figure out what that is inside there first. 2002.96 divided by pi, and that is square root of 637.56, and that keeps going, right? So R is going to be square root of that, which is 25.25 meters. Right, so you found a circle that has an area of 2002.96 square meters. Now you found that it would have to have a radius of this to get that area. And you could double check by plugging this into your formula of the area and see if you get it right. Triangle has an area of this. Determine the base if you know the height. Okay. So the base, this is also the formula I gave you yesterday, is 2 times the area divided by the height. Right? I give you 2 formulas. This one, and you also know that this is true. If you want to know the height and you're given the base, you would use this. We use this. Okay, so base would be 2 times 1275 divided by 25. And it's 102 yards. So you get 1 mark for having the formula and plugging it in, and 1 mark for the final answer. Oh, What if we did it algebraically with area is equal to base times height? Yes, absolutely. That is completely okay to do that. So what John is saying is, couldn't you just use the fact that area is base times height divided by 2 and then plug in what you know? So the area is, I will do that because it's worth mentioning it. We know that the height is 25. So basically BH is B times, you can use dot for times 25 divided by 2. And at this point, you kind of undo what is happening. So the 2 is dividing on this side. So you would multiply both sides by 2. That gets rid of this, because if you divide by 2 and multiply by 2, it's like you didn't do anything. So on this side, you go 2 times 1275 to get 2550. And that's basically what you got here, right? You got 2550 when you multiplied these two, which leaves you with, and I'm just going to flip it, 25b, 25 times b like that. So your last step is to divide both sides by 25, which, watch what's happening here. You divide it by 25 as well. And so then it allows you to do this. So base is really 2550 divided by 25, which is also going to give you 102 yards. So if you did it this way, there's nothing wrong. You can do every single one of the ones we just did. You can do them algebraically like this. Okay. Every single question is worth 2 except for 1E, where you had to find the height of the triangle. That one is worth 3. So this page right here is worth 6. So 2A, B, and C together add up to 6. And the front page, everything is 2 except for all questions for 2 are worth 2 then, yes. So it's 6. Sorry, I didn't read it right. So give yourselves a mark out of 17 at the front and submit it, okay? So a mark out of 17. Can you put your, in moving forward, name and initial of your last name? It just makes things faster when I'm entering because I don't always remember your last name. Name, initial of last name, and your cohort, okay? So whatever cohort you're in, it'll make it easier for me. So give me 1 second, I'll just make that available so you can upload it. All right, so you can upload it. If you can do that as well, if you're here, just upload it and then just leave your paper copy on your desk before you leave.